Welcome to the show. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. More on them in a bit. Welcome everyone. It's time to talk about some Dr. Stone again. I can't believe it. We got like two weeks in a row, and then it's gonna be God, a very cold, dark winter without Dr. Stone. But welcome back to the Anime-Versal Reviews podcast with Kyle. I'm also joined by my spouse,
Christine,
and our spouse,
Brian. Hey.
Oh man, guys, it's all over now. Like the Stone Wars are done. The arc is fully complete. Like we are now not just 1 foot into the next journey. Both feet have crossed the line now. Like we're journeying forward, and I am really freaking excited about it. But before I talk why I'm excited about it, let's get just a couple quick, words on how you felt about this episode and how you feel about the direction before we get in deep with it. Brian.
I don't know. I have some mixed feelings. I mean, we'll see, and we'll go into all the details, obviously, but I don't know. I have concerns.
Okay. Let me phrase this. The prologue. Sorry. The prologue itself reminded me of something very real. All too often in entertainment, we always hit the climatic battle, the climatic moment, and there's that come down, but that come down always still feels epic somehow. Somehow it feels amazing, or it has this really unique send off. What this reminded me of is coming back from a mission, from a patrol, a convoy, whatever, and that debriefing, that refit phase, the refueling, eating, sleeping, and showering in some weird order of those things. Sometimes multiple.
you can eat and shower and sleep while you do it.
Yeah,
there you go.
Exactly. And it reminded me that the more a lot of things happen after your fight is done. You get to care for your wounded and things like that. And I looked at this episode at the first viewing, and I was like, okay, yeah, that was fine. I'm happy with the way things turned out overall, and I'm ready to go on what's next. But it was the second time that I watched it that I realized that's kind of what this is. And so I judged it in a bit of a different light at that point. I didn't judge it all in as far as the episode itself. I didn't judge it as harshly, having seen it and thinking it in that context. So that's kind of my words on it. Christine?
Yeah, that's about right. But I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it, but to me, I can't help but feel like now it's incomplete because I want to continue on. So.
I guess. Brian, did you want to say anything else after?
No. I mean,
okay.
I like I said, and there's things I love about it that you may think I don't, and then there's things I don't like, which you may know. I don't know. We haven't spoken about this at all this episode, but
okay.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and get into it. It's really for the length of episode there is a lot happens without a lot happening. We open up with Homura seeing the attack on Hyoga and charging in, and I was like, oh shit, here comes Kohaku, and sure enough, there was Kohaku and
Yep.
everyone else to save the day. I figured that would happen. I was actually kind of relieved to see Hyoga not dead myself, because I was like, wow, Senku managed to, keep his promises to everyone, and um they tie up Hyoga and Homura, and you get a funny little joke about Magma wanting to kill uh um kill what's his name, but they're like, of course, you can't do that. I love the throwback to Ginro giving Senku training on taking hits and using the shield,
That
and
was great.
yep,
Yeah.
I absolutely love that moment with Ginro and Senku, and um yeah, after that we hear Senku say, basically what's going to happen with their captives doesn't really concern him. They're going to hold them captive until such time that they've got a society that can judge them and punish or rehabilitate or what have you. I think it's a really cool thing, because he says I'm just a scientist, and before we get to wrap this all up, he ends with telling Kohaku, she's like, oh, it's finally done. She's thinking the Stone Wars are done. And he's like, no, you don't understand. That was just the uh uh pre what is it in the story? What happens before, Brian? We're in the prologue now, but
Yeah.
the pre something prelogue. No, that's not
This
it.
prologue.
No, prologue is after. I'm saying what
Oh,
comes in
is that the word?
pre
Epilogue is.
pre something. Then prelude. I don't remember. Anyways,
The beginning of the book before the book starts.
yes, he's
There you go.
basically saying, the Stone Wars weren't even part of it. Now we can actually start, and we're gonna find out what it is that they're gonna start after the intro theme song, which gives us time to talk about this opening. And Brian, go.
This is my issue. If you're not going to kill Hyogo, fine. That bums me out a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't feel that there was no true um sacrifice of any kind. And you may, I mean, we'll talk about the end of the episode, but to me, it's not a sacrifice.
okay,
And so that was my problem. And then Senku's his own line bothered me. The whole like, I'm not worried about, at some point we'll worry about laws and society. And it's like, yeah, when? Because you have a guy here who if he could would kill every single villager.
yeah.
And what are you going to do about it? And it's
Mhm.
one of those like loose threads. And I'm assuming it'll play a role next season. But I just
Just
wish there
read the
was
manga, man.
I just wish somebody had stepped up and be like, no, this is what we're gonna do. And if you just had one character come up and be like, you know what, we do need laws and we need to start working on that. It might have not bothered me as much,
Right.
but because it didn't get addressed, that's what was sort of bugging me about the episode.
I could see that.
Well, maybe like the next person they'll revive that we don't see, obviously, will be like a lawyer and a judge, and like get a few of them. Like, okay, y'all figure that part out while we get on this, But I mean, it is true. Like, he is a scientist. He's not. I mean, he's got the knowledge, but the judgment on that part isn't something that he's interested in. So, for him, I mean, it is important, but his mission that he's put together in his head is more important. So someone else needs to tackle that. I think is what his mindset is, and we just don't see that conversation on screen, and it'd be nice to have that conversation on screen. So.
I guess. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Well, let's carry on past the theme song then. I mean, I was all right with it. Like I said, um, the first thing that we get one thing I did notice, and I don't know when she got it, but Kohaku's shield is metal and has the Kingdom of Science rocket design on it, and I thought that was so cool. Did you catch that, Brian?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, go back and look.
Yeah, Kyle couldn't stop pointing it out.
Yeah,
Look. It's like I didn't see it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then right there, and
I mean that's a really cool thing. I mean,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
She throughout the last two episodes, she has just shown her absolute adoration and uh fealty to the kingdom of science, to Senku, even almost to a fault, almost like maybe this could be something, later.
No.
Some no, not romantic.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
some
so you know.
a story thread, a I don't know if you want to go with like obsessive or cultish, or there could be they could take it to where even if he makes bad decisions, she becomes his enforcer type thing. Like, she's got a serious loyalty to him, and
Yeah.
that's just cool. But I'm saying they could play with it. Not
She
saying
would
they
have been
will.
a great character to step up and say, when Senku's like, you know what, I'm going to deal with this stuff. She could have been like, you know what, that's cool, but I'm going to deal with this.
Yeah,
And him, he'd be like, I trust you, and just a lot, just something, because it felt like it's like we defeated him last episode, cool, but then we just tie him up and throw him in a cell, and we're not going to address it. And like I said, that was really my only major gripe with the
yeah,
episode. I was pretty cool with everything else.
yeah. All right. Well, it's carry on. Waking up a manga artist, hilarious. The inside joke, and often really not a joke. The amount of like overwork and negativity you hear about the workplace, in the industry, but it did make for a funny joke. They wake up a guy that they put back together. We're seeing that, yes, indeed, if you put someone back together, as long as those inside parts aren't too worn out, it will heal up and awaken them. And he again gives him some paper. He's worried about his deadline, and he immediately goes back to writing and drawing. And I like it. It's a fun little setup. What's up?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, why smash a writer? Like, what was that? Like, I can understand, like, maybe like a corrupt lawyer, but like, what's wrong with him?
Well,
He's
good point.
what if he was responsible for what's a really bad one? That one with the spinning top thingies.
Beyblades.
Yeah,
Oh.
he was that guy.
God,
Tsukasa was just like, no, never again.
unforgivable.
He wrote Bleach.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, that was really loud.
You can find Brian at PulpMythos on
Yeah,
YouTube,
yeah.
where you can smash every video's dislike button, and then subscribe, and then just unsubscribe. Speaking of subscribe, if you're not subscribed to the LRMonline.com, oh crap, I screwed it up, to LRM's Genreverse podcast network, please do hit that subscribe button right now on YouTube or whatever app you're listening to. It's a cool thing that Gin says, hey, we want to wake up entertainers too. We want to bring back the world, and the world needs happiness, and I
Some
think
culture and yeah,
Yeah.
some fun.
Yeah.
It's you can't have all work and no play.
Exactly, and especially with what they're about to embark on, you're definitely going to want at least some musicians, right? That's traditional for boats, right? To have a musician on board. Um, what Brian?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, sure.
What pirate movie, Age of Sail movie? What
I think it's just in the movies they just have someone who just
Titanic?
loves to sing.
The Titanic band? You got music on the boats, anyway.
That's to entertain the rich people, though. What they're doing is a mission, and they can entertain themselves, I guess, for that. But
whatever. Anyways. Brian's least favorite person comes back, but I have a feeling that Brian's going to say that he is going to be a potentially okay character in the future because the last two uses have been okay, and that is Yo. That is my opinion. I feel that the last two uses of Yo have fit, I'm okay with, and that if we get Yo like this in small doses, I can see where he could be a character to have going forward. Brian, did I get it right?
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yes!
In this, because when I saw him again, I was like, all right, here we go. But it was just a few little lines that that I laughed at, even when he was talking about when he was petrified and everything.
Yeah, taking a
yeah,
piss.
I was like, okay, that was funny. And he wasn't instrumental in terms of the plot. He was just sort of there, had a few lines. Watch me be a huge Yo fan in like 2 seasons.
Yo's my shit.
God.
What about you, Christine? Yo really annoyed the crap out of you early on too.
Yeah, and what I think it is he's like water. Like he'll fit into anything. He'll try to morph himself to fit, and maybe seize an opportunity later, but he didn't get caught for anything that he was trying to get involved in, and so he's just gonna play along, and so that's just it's okay, sure.
Okay,
There are people like that,
but you're not you don't hate him as much as you did
he's
before.
less annoying.
There.
Yes.
Hey, I look at this as a total win, right? Because here's a character that we all saw, and while I was not 100% against him like you guys were, because I was like, he's a one-offer, and then when he came back, it was like, okay, that wasn't terrible, and then this episode, yeah, I'm okay. I think he could be. It just they gotta dose him out right. It's like acid, right? Like if you've got it, like, and the cops show up, don't put that in like your shirt and run because you'll get too much. That's like what happens with Yo. You can't have too much.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, then we get to go serious for a bit. We have we see Tsukasa talking about locations. Oh, and one of the interesting things about Yo is when he does show up, he goes, pretends to have amnesia. Then Yuzuriha is like basically, hey, look, we need help, and this is why. And they go and show a bunch of crumbled and broken statues, and Yo is put to work helping to put the statues back together. I think that's kind of important. And the fact that he actually did it, right? I think, yeah, like I said,
again, water. He needs to fit in. He needs to to get inside, and just that's just the way he is.
But this real serious moment where Tsukasa is naming off locations, and the reporter female, she's like, please rest, and he's like, no, I gotta finish this up before it's time, and it basically turns out, he's given a list of all the places he's broken statues,
Mm-hmm.
and they ask him, like, geez, man, do you really remember them all? And he's like, yes, all of them. I remember them all. The kingdom of science has won this war, and their sacrifice meant nothing. It's kind of interesting because it shows that he still holds that idea. His idea has not necessarily been swayed, but he's at least willing to potentially coexist. You know what I'm saying, or at least kick the can down the road. I thought that was an important line. What do you
Yeah.
think, Christine?
Yeah, because his plan sucked. His idea sucked. Um, and it's yeah, he lost. He realizes that, and the thing is, you can't have a perfect world, and I think we had talked about it, a couple episodes back about just reviving a bunch of alphas and or at least like people who are they're not as alpha as him, but
Yeah.
they're still like a bunch of fighters. It's like, yeah, you're still going to have a hierarchy. You're still going to have a level, and then there's going to be some that are weak and strong. So it's just you can't stop human nature. You can just try to punish those who've done bad, and try to encourage good. And so it's like, yeah, I guess it's yeah. Okay, I made my point. Keep going.
I, he's that Thanos. He's as misguided as Thanos. Only it's kind of the reverse. Instead of sending half away, he's figuring who to bring back. You know,
Hmm.
and he's almost worse than Thanos in a way, because Thanos at least was like random, half, go. You
Yeah.
know, this guy's trying to pick specific, winners and losers. Brian, what do you think about the conversation? Him remembering the statues and then calling their sacrifice pointless. Do you think he still holds on to that idea of his, that ideal?
You know, I don't, that was something throughout the course of the entire episode. I'm not completely sure what Sukasa's beliefs are now. I don't know. It's interesting because him and Hyoga had similar views in that they believed in a very okay, well, we're going to rebuild the world, but in our image, basically.
Mm-hmm.
They just had different views on how that would work. I don't know that he's rejected that view completely, but maybe he does, because there is the whole I don't remember if it was this scene or later, him remembering the whole was it 7 billion and figuring out
Yeah,
how,
yeah.
yeah. So that whole thing makes me think, well, maybe he
I
is
think he's
embracing
Yeah, that's
that
what
idea.
I was gonna say. I was to compliment your question is, I think the remember how I was like, I thought in the last episode, every time Senku was saying something about science, it was gonna be like, oh, here comes Tsukasa to the rescue. He gets to live, and then he's like, oh, I embrace science. No, I think they're showing us that each of those moments are kind of hitting and chipping away at his armor, and that by the time we get to the end of the episode, I think he's going to be reflecting on that. The very last
Mhm.
things that he hears before sleeping. I think he's going to be reflecting on that exact point. What if we all work together to do it, instead of you know trying to pick just a few to survive?
Yeah. I mean, that's how it was before. Like, everyone works just about. I mean, some can't, some won't, but you know, people work to make life continue.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
It's kind of inspiring type stuff. I think, but I don't know. Anything else on that, Brian?
No.
Sorry, excuse me. So the next stuff is deals with like Chrome and Kohaku, man, they're just like the true believers in Senku, and not just his ability, but that he's gonna save Tsukasa somehow. Senku has found and revived. He says that they revived a bunch of modern humans now, and he's describing making medical glue. And there are a few people that are around that are like, oh wow, you're making that. And I love the idea that he's already at work reviving people. Like, that was his whole goal from the get-go. I'm going to revive everyone. And let's see, when Kohaku goes to feed the prisoners, Homura and Hyoga, they're like, oh, he's gonna die, yada yada, and she's like, no, he's not. You didn't kill him, and there's a discussion about miracles, and she says, since Senku doesn't put his faith in things like that and things like miracles, it's all about science for him. And then we learn about the plan to do to repetrify is in play, but they don't really describe it at all. They just drop it like, hey, we're gonna repetrify him, but we gotta patch him up first. So they're gonna do some surgery, and that's really fun. Yeah. I like the animation, the dark, demented type things, the come play with us type sound they have when they're like, hey, Yuzuriha, we need you to do crafts club work, surgery, and Tsukasa's gonna have this surgery with without anesthesia. But one thing that I think that's interesting that we find out or get reminded of is the fact that Mirai is a 12-year-old body with a 6-year-old little girl in it. And she's been asleep for 3,008 years because she was 6 years old, and it's been 2 years by the time. So, yeah, she was asleep, 3,007 years and change. That's interesting until it's not, because by the end of the episode, we'll discuss why it's not really that interesting. But they made a point to point it out. So, the surgery is it's creepy and cool, like I said. And I don't want to get to the more personal conversation between them yet. So, but Brian, what'd you think about everything up to that?
Yeah, that was fine. Before he revealed his plan.
Yeah.
Before the machine he builds.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it was fine. I thought, like you said, the surgery, even the way that was all done, and seeing blood, and I thought it was well done. I like the fact that everyone is like, he's like, okay, I'm gonna die. There's no way to save me, and Hyoga says it. A few scenes earlier, he's just like, he's gonna die. There's nothing you can do. And I kept thinking, where's this going? Where's this going? And they kept building it and building it. So I was on the edge of my seat, curious what was going to happen.
Yeah. Christine, do you like the surgery scenes? I like the surgery scenes.
They were fun. Yeah, I don't have anything to add.
Okay, cool. So why don't we go ahead and let's take a moment and hear from our outstanding sponsors over at Grow Generation. Appreciate it, guys.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. For all of your cultivation needs, Grow Generation has the right products, service and staff to make your grow successful. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
All right, thank you guys so much for sponsoring the episode, and definitely go check them out. Link below, growgeneration.com. Pretty easy to remember. maybe until you buy all their stuff and set it up, use it, and some time passes, then you might forget the website. But the link's in the description below, just in case. So, there's the conversations with Senku about what needs to happen. He's saved Tsukasa for some time. I love the light here, the animation here again, the music here again. It's Gen, it's Tsukasa, and it's Senku, and the idea again is brought up to repetrify Tsukasa, and Gen is just like, well, how? And Senku's like, I don't know, but I do know that it happened, which means it can happen again, which means that if we can figure out how to preserve him, then we can petrify him and bring him back. We've shown it, that broken statues can be brought back, that brain dead kids can be brought back. So it makes sense. And this was the question we had last week. If they Deus Ex Machina the shit to make it where Tsukasa survives, I was like, would I be upset? And the whole thing was, well, why and how? And I personally am okay with both the why and how. And I even have a prediction for the end of the series, in which I think Senku will be a very, very old dude by the time he's able to revive Tsukasa, and Tsukasa will help take humanity on to its next step, and that'll be the end of Dr. Stone, way, way in the future. That's what I think will happen. I don't know, but what do you think about the plan and stuff, Brian?
Yeah, this was the most interesting thing about the episode, and I don't hate it. I am concerned about it. And my concern comes in, this is a show that they play a little loose here and there, but it is a show rooted in the idea of science. The one fantastical thing with this series is the petrification.
Right.
And you go back to the very beginning of the show, and it happened, but the show seemed to be like, you know what, it's not important why it happened or how it happened. And the show really hasn't addressed it. It's not what the show has been about. Now it will be. And I'm nervous because I have no clue how they'll possibly explain this in a way that I'll be like, okay, that's cool. So it just makes me nervous. Now maybe they will, maybe it'll be brilliant, but that's where my trepidation comes in, and is that this is the one fantastical element that the show has ignored all the way up into this point, and I'm glad they have. And now they're going full steam into it. Like, no, that's what the show is going to be about now, at least for however long how many seasons, I don't know. But so I'm nervous. But in terms of the Tsukasa surviving and this being the driving force for this quest, I was fine with that. It is funny because it's like all of a sudden the show is going to become One Piece, but we'll discuss that later.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Christine. What do you think about Tsukasa potentially surviving?
I thought it would be kind of interesting to see what happens, but I'm not okay with it because the abuse of this discovery and what it will do with humanity is what popped in my head. It's like, okay, well then, someone's going to get injured, have like an accident and die, and then you're gonna petrify them and then bring them back. And it's like, but death is, a natural thing. It's part of life. And it's like, what are you gonna do with that? And, should you do this is what I was thinking. It's like, people die.
The three of us need remember those books back in the day, Brian, like Star Wars and philosophy, Harry Potter and
Hmm.
philosophy. The three of us need to write fucking
Matrix.
Stone and philosophy.
I like, yeah,
Christine
because
just brought up a really good
you're right.
point.
And if the show goes into the morality and of the
Oh my
science, that
god.
would be cool because Senku, we're going into Jurassic Park territory. It's like,
Yes,
it's
we
not
Yeah.
whether or not
are.
we didn't ask. Of course, we can do it, but should we do it? And just
Yeah.
Hmm.
that, I didn't even think of it like that.
Wow.
That was the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, yeah,
Congratulations,
this is gonna
Christine.
be abused, I
You
think.
may have just convinced Brian to not read the manga. Because that actually is, and the way this show has been done, it's not out of the likelihood to see that type of thing explored.
Yeah. And
Um,
and I know like with like people who have like certain diseases, like cancer, it's I don't know if the petrification and then the revival process would fix that. I don't think that, but still, like people who get in accidents while like working with like machinery and stuff like that, like reviving them, and it's like I don't think you should, because then it's just everyone
mhm.
gets that opportunity, everyone gets saved, but it's like that happens, it's just natural, and I don't think that's
Yeah.
okay.
No, I mean it is a conundrum, and as much as this has been about science, there has been quite a bit of philosophy in this show, without a doubt. And I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
I married a incredibly smart one and hot one too.
Well, thank you.
Anyways, Brian's over there like, shut the fuck up, guys. Give him some goddamn Dr. Stone shit. Save that for the fucking midnight run. Oh, Brian, Chizuru, she's here. She's on
Oh
the
yeah.
shelf. Anyways, the last thing we get before we learn the big reveal, the machine that's being built, is Senku asking, do you trust me? Do you trust me enough to kill you? And we get an of course I do, and a fun little conversation. And again, this reminds me of just like the dark humor you have in the military. Is like, Senku, I kind of killed you, so you kind of owe me one. And Senku's
Yeah.
like, you know what, you're right. I'll kill you, and that'll be my revenge.
That'll
I
make us even.
Yeah, I really like that. Did you like that, Mama Christine?
Yeah, I thought that was funny. That they could, have a bonding moment on Tsukasa's deathbed.
Yeah.
Um, so it was interesting.
Brian, you and I almost do not believe in the phrase too soon. So dark comedy's like our like like really you got to do some really messed up thing. Like Brian and I are trauma fans. So
Yeah,
what would you I love this line.
I did
I thought it
too.
was great.
I absolutely loved it. And all the stuff, going back to when we were talking about the spear stuff in the beginning, everything that does a callback to the beginning, or
Mhm.
a season ago or whatever, I always appreciate that, because it's, I feel like, oh, okay, development, characters are growing and changing, and that the past does matter to us to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but yeah, I like that line.
Yeah. So the whole idea is basically to cryogenically freeze Sukasa. They're going to lower his temperature slowly and then keep him frozen, and they build a a pump freezer, and it works, and of course it works, and because it needs to work. And you get this really, again, I got to go back even, guys. No, we'll save it for the end when we're talking about the episode in general. That artwork in the cave when it's Gen and Senku and Tsukasa, man, the colors are just so pretty. It reminded me of Arizona actually for some reason. But anyways, uh, Mirai, uh, Mirai is going to, or no, we don't get there yet, do we? We see the freezer, um, the Stone Kingdom. Oh, I love how they're all like the villagers were in season 1 when Senku was first inventing things. Like as they're building the parts for the freezer, you know, they're tearing apart the cell phone. They're getting wire. They're taking pistons from the steam gorilla from the steam engine and all of that to make this freezer. And everyone's putting it together. uh what is it? Yukio, what's her name, Nikki, and Yo are just shocked. Like they can't believe. Not only can they not believe what's been going on, but when Yo calls them cavemen, Nikki's like, "Shut up, dude. We've been living like cavemen. They've been living with ramen."
Yeah.
And they put together a freezer, and we get that discussion about the 7 billion people working to feed and sustain 7 billion people. And Senku points out, hey, if we had the petrification ray, we could have limitless food. Basically, you hit it with the petrification ray, heal it, thaw it out, kill, take what you need, petrify, rinse, wash, repeat. That's his idea to sustain 7 billion people, but that doesn't solve Christine's crisis whatsoever. It just means that there's food.
Yeah.
You still have a problem. But it's that conversation again. They're throwing looks back at Tsukasa, and yeah. Anybody got anything they want to say on this scene before we talk about the death?
There's anything I need to
Brian?
add?
No.
No. Okay, so the death scene. The villagers are rushed out by Kasuke. He's like, come on, guys. He's about to, put his friend to death. Do you really think he wants you guys to be here? The music's playing. The song. It's got the lyrics till I see you again, or till we see each other again, something like that. And I'm not sure how famous the song is. It didn't ring a bell in my ear. But it's a nice melody playing through it. Kohaku gives hey, they're the chiefs of their villages. They need to talk some things out. And this was an incredibly touching scene. This was an amazing moment in anime for me. As they're discussing the freezing process, it's like cold sleep, haha, it's science fiction. And Senku asks him, hey, who would you take on the Soyuz rocket with you? Because it takes 3. Space flight reminds him of it. And Tsukasa's like, oh, you want a short list of important people? And he's like, no, I just wanted to chit chat. And
Idle chat.
Small talk. And Tsukasa says, here at the end, and all you want to do is small talk. And Senku very just solemnly asks, what's wrong with a little small talk?
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with it. Oh my God, I cannot tell you how many times it was just small talk that we or I or a buddy needed after a particular day or night. I had one really, really, really bad day that Christine and Brian are well aware of. And my roommate, he was doing construction stuff, not going out. And I came back, he was like, here, have this definitely not imported alcoholic beverage, and this legitimately 100% legal Cuban cigar, and we just talked about random stuff. Like we were watching ER on our downtime, and we were talking about uh Dr. Knight, Lucy Knight, and Dr. Carter, and they had just gotten stabbed and stuff. And so I get this scene. I really do. I get it, and I love all the things that they go over. We do learn that the sister's going to be part of this team that stays behind to make sure that the machine is running, and it makes sense to deposit people at these different points. You've got the cave there and this freezer there. You'll have Ishigami Village. You'll have the forward operating base. I mean, they're already colonizing, but one of the best things they talk about is the Mario mushroom. And as Tsukasa is fading and getting to the point to where Senku can start putting him under, Senku just goes off talking about the mushrooms that can make you hallucinate, and that Mario's not really big. He's just tripping balls. He even says it, tripping balls, and he has that reservation of just, fuck, man, I've got to do this. I don't wanna, I hate it, but let's do it. And it's such a solemn scene. And yeah, what do you think, Christine?
Yeah, it was a funny line, and just he knew that he was gone, and Senku just kept talking. He needed to. Sometimes you just kind of have to keep your brain going instead of stopping, and yeah, it's really sad.
What did you think, Brian? Have they earned this with each other?
Yeah, I like the fact that it was just idle chatter. It's just like, let's talk. And at first it seemed like, okay, Senku's definitely planning some stuff, but no, like you said, the Mario stuff, and they were just talking, and it almost felt like Senku was trying to because he kept talking even as Tsukasa was fading, and like he was trying to comfort him, during this moment. And yeah, it was a very well done scene.
Yeah. It like I said, I really get it, and wow, it was touching to me very much. So the episode basically starts ending with a good shot of, holy crap, look at all these people that they've woken up. Senku saying, hey, we've got to go to the source of the petrification. We want to figure how to not just save Tsukasa, but also make sure that this doesn't happen to us ever again. We got to go track it down. And it wasn't even Senku who brought it up. I think it was Yukio that does, like, oh, can you imagine if it happens again? Like, will Senku be able to make it through this time? Or would they find his statue and break it? These are the thoughts that are going through his mind, which I appreciated. So for that reason, alone, it does make sense to go that way. Not only that, but the idea of a mass depetrification, reverse engineering it, also makes sense to me. So they decide to get on a boat. They're gonna build a boat. We see a boat and a One Piece, homage, if you will, at the end. But that's just them imagining things. They talk about having to build the boat. I don't know if the season will start with the boat already built or not. I hope not. I hope we get to see a little bit more of the division of the kingdom and whatnot. But yeah, that's where we're going, Brian. We're gonna go all the way across the world towards South America and Antarctica, and find what froze everyone. This is your concern, man. What's up?
I have a few concerns. Concern number one being obvious. I said it earlier, the petrification thing. the fact that we are going to actually go into this. So we're there. In other words, there's going to be an answer, and whether or not I like it or not is gonna is we'll see. We'll see. The other thing is, and it's sort of cool, but this is a big quest, and this isn't a small thing. Like you said, where they're heading, they're gonna build this ship. I don't know who all is going, but I started thinking about timeline and how much time that journey will take. Is the show going to split off into where you're following two different groups, one group on the boat, one not? Are they going to encounter other people out there? That was another thought. I was like, okay, we're on a ship going out in the ocean. What are the chances they'll encounter other people? So my big concern, besides the petrification, is the show's scale may get really, really big, too big. And there are other series I followed that did that, where it got a little convoluted and lost track of what it was. And I was thinking about that when they were describing their plan. So it's a lot of just concerns. I mean, maybe none of these things will be a problem, but it was definitely some things I was thinking about.
Yeah, definitely. What
For-
about you, Christine?
For me, I think it's a bad idea to do a mass depetrification. There's no laws, government, any kind of structure in place around the world. So a lot of bad things are going to be happening.
I wouldn't think I wouldn't think he would try to hit like a button that shoots it all at once.
Okay, because when you said mass, I was
when
like,
I say mass is like he's able to get like 50 statues together and hit them all with a beam, like that type of thing, and then brief 50 people, integrate 50 people, and then like 3 months down the road, 50 more.
It could be a button. We don't know. That's my concern. We don't know.
But that as scary as it is, this is the way, and that's the end of the episode. So by the way, everyone. So we're kind of just in our afterthoughts now. The thoughts of getting into the philosophy, the ideology, the repercussions, the ethics, things like that, like Christine's brought up, are real possibilities for this show. I mean, could it get too shonen-ish? Yeah, it could go down a bad route. But I'll tell you what, the Stone Wars from season 1, episode 1 to them putting Tsukasa to sleep, I'm still okay with, like, hey, they went on a journey. I don't know if Tsukasa ever woke up again, but I'm happy with the story that I was told. That's how I look at it. But I do like the idea of an adventure. I've often thought about what happened with the Russian couple that left. We know that they got graves eventually, but was that because they know they died? Did they not come back? Did I have a feeling even that there might be other super big brain Senku types out there that may have woken up and potentially done the same thing. So the idea of an adventure and potentially running into some other humans is really enticing to me, because of the again, this show's not afraid to touch on trade relationships, politics, ideology, and culture and things like that. And I don't know, the Stone World's age of discovery. I'm kind of excited about it. Christine?
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Okay, Brian, any last thoughts on it?
Yeah, is there any word on, I mean, any kind of timetable or episode length or how many episodes for the next season?
I have not seen or read anything. I could not imagine them telling unless they were only telling like the boat building story. I can't imagine a quest story arc being less than 20 episodes. I really can't.
Yeah, and some things they'd have to speed up because, traveling by ship
Yeah.
will take a long time. It'll take months, many months. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And
Well, I mean, it'll be fun. He's gonna have to make a compass, and you start thinking about all the things he's gonna have to equip on this ship
And
for the
he's got
journey.
to adjust for Earth's tilt and things like that
Yeah.
for
yeah,
navigation.
figure things
And
out. What's
yeah,
that? There's that tool, kind of. I don't remember what it's called, but there's like
the sextant.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, but he's got to adjust it because the
Yeah.
stars aren't where they used to be.
yeah. So he's got to get to studying and,
Yeah,
and figure things out.
exactly. And that's another thing to think about, because Earth's axis has indeed tilted, Brian. I wonder if we'll run into any interesting weather things in
That, yeah,
in the
definitely.
future. Man, isn't it crazy to think of all the shit that's gonna happen to this planet after we're off of it?
Yeah, something else. It's been 3,000 years, and the moon pulls away further and further.
Yeah,
So it's
so
like,
the tides won't even necessarily be the same.
yeah,
If they're willing to mention, Brian, about tilt of Earth's axis, I have to wonder, are they going to talk about the moon being further away? I mean,
I would think they'd have
that
to.
I would
that
think so.
yeah, that's a real thing. To all you the tree huggers out there, stop sending your money to save the tree, and let's figure out a way off this rock. Because no matter what, this rock is going bye bye. So let's get off of it. No. Anyways, episode's grade. For me, it was an 8 for the episode. Christine, what do you think?
An 8?
Yeah.
I thought we were doing letters.
Oh, yeah. Why
Yeah,
did
we
I
do
do
letters.
that? That's clearly a B.
There you go. I'll agree with that. A B.
Okay, Brian.
That's funny. My original score was a C plus, and then I bumped it up to a B minus, specifically because of the idle chat scene. And the only thing, and let me reiterate, the only thing this was a decent episode. The only thing I didn't like specifically in the episode was the Hyoga stuff. That I legitimately didn't like. As far as them going on this journey and all that stuff, that's more just speculation. That it's not what was in the episode that bothered me. It was more me concerned with what could be. So yeah, B minus.
Okay, not too shabby. Now, let's just grade A, B, C, D plus minus the Stone Wars saga, the whole thing from episode 1, season 1 through now. This for me is still, I know I'm biased, this is an A plus series for me. Brian.
A solid A.
Brian gives it a solid A. I'll try to make it bold for you, Brian. There you go. Christine.
I'm gonna go with A plus because it's just that enjoyable. Even like the little moments, it's still like as a whole, it's an A plus. Yeah.
Well, great.
I would recommend this to any and everyone who watches animation, anime, whatever. There's no one I could think of that I wouldn't recommend this show to, and there's not a lot of shows I could say that about.
Yeah.
So yeah,
this is a great gateway to anime. It's a great, hey, you used to watch anime, kind of falling out of it. Check this out. A good welcome back. It's a great, hey, do you like interesting science stories? Like stories where you get to learn things? Like, check this out. And then check out Cells at Work. By the way, dude, Brian, this week, Cells at Work. Oh, so good. Cancer's a bitch.
Don't give it away. Maybe they haven't watched it yet.
I did. Whatever. Anyways, that's it, guys. We now get to move on to a new series. We're actually going to not do a brand new series. The next thing we'll be discussing will be FLCL, which is just a 6-episode OVA, basically, and we're just going to talk about it all at once, one episode. Everyone who's anyone, I'd say, what, Brian, over the age of 32 should know FLCL, right?
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was like, I remember when that hit Toonami. Like, it blew up so big. Like, and the introduction of Japanese music and rock via the pillows forever changed a lot of people's lives. So yeah, we'll get to talk a lot about that. Look for that. Look for the Midnight Run. Christine and I getting to talk about some spicy anime stuff. What else does LRM's Genreverse podcast network have going on? Loki Thursdays coming up, guys. We will be reviewing Loki. You can check out a bunch of us talking about the last 3 the Thor films. Those are up on our YouTube channel. Subscribe there, of course. And of course, those shows, as well as the Star Wars Cantina, Breaking Geek Radio, all of that are available on the Genreverse Podcast Network, wherever you get your podcasts from. And last but not least, check out LRMonline.com every day for all of your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. Brian, please tell the good folks out there where they can find more of your content at.
You can find me on YouTube. The channel is PulpMythos, and I'll be starting Why Women Kill this week. So check it out.
Wow, I got some theories, but I don't want to actually get killed because I'm pretty sure I'm right. Because what's rule number 1? No, I'm joking. Anyway, you guys can find me at that Kyle Malone on Twitter, at that one Kyle Malone on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for listening this week. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.